Hey guys, Graham here from therecordingrevolution.com. Hope you're having an excellent day. Got a product review for you today on the Focusrite VRM Box. It's their virtual reference monitoring USB interface Swiss Army knife device. You may have heard about it, may have seen it. I know I was following this for a while and I've been dying to get my hands on it finally and use it enough to kind of get used to it so that I could sort of jump on the blog, jump on here on YouTube, let you know what I think, because I see something like this in an ad and I go, hey, that is an interesting product that solves an interesting problem, right? Here's the problem. Most of us, if you're in a small home project studio, have acoustic issues, right? You're in a room that's probably not perfectly acoustically treated. You're in a room that's noisy. You've got roommates, you've got kids, you have a spouse, you have friends over, you have interstate right next to your apartment that's loud. You can only mix late at night when you get home from work or school, so you can't have your speakers on. You'd rather work in headphones, but then headphones don't sound natural, so you're not sure if your mix is really going to work on speakers. Headphones make your ears tired. Maybe you only have one set of speakers to listen to, and you'd love to know how does your mix translate on other speakers, but you can't afford them, or you're tired of burning a CD or taking your USB drive to your car, or another situation to listen to your mix on different environments. You know you should, but what happens? You end up just mixing to what you hear, you burn it, you press it, you call it a day, and your mix doesn't sound great. You need to reference your mix. You need to listen to your mix with fresh ears. You need to change it out, switch it up, keep things moving so that you don't settle for your first mix. And I see a box like this. It says it's $99 US, and it can do all of that for you in headphones, and I'm intrigued. Of course, I don't buy it initially, but Focusrite's a great company. I use a lot of their gear, and it looked like someone was trying to solve a problem, so I wanted to try it out. Really quickly, I want to show you some of the features that are helpful, show you how I'm using it in recent projects, and then give you my final verdict as to is this really going to help the average home project studio person. Then you're going to have to decide for yourself. At its core, it's a USB box, so you don't have to have an audio interface. You can just plug in this to your Mac or PC with an included cable, put in your 1/4-inch studio headphones in the front, and all it is a big volume knob. So at its core, it can just be an interface to listen to with your headphones. And then it also comes with software that you load up on your Mac or PC that allows you to control the DSP chip inside. You get 3 studio environments. You get a professional studio environment that is supposedly modeling the sound of space in a professional studio. You get a project or home studio environment that sounds more like a project or home studio. And then you have a living room environment. What does your mix sound like if you're just out in your living room? I like how they've got 3 separate spaces, and then in each space you get a drop-down menu of the different speakers that are available to you, and those change based on the space you're in, right? So in the professional studio environment, you're going to get a list of really popular, really widely used models of studio-grade monitors, KRKs, Yamahas, Mackeys, Oratones, you name it. Then in the project studio, you're going to get some of those, but you're also going to get things like a computer, $20 speakers that you put on your desk that you just pop on and off. They're really mid-range heavy. You're going to get also maybe a stereo sound. You're also going to get maybe your computer monitor built-in speakers. And in the living room environment, you're going to get big hi-fi stereo, you know, surround sound type speakers that you would have if you're watching movies. You're going to have the built-in flat panel display speakers, which aren't going to sound great, but you're going to get different speakers that are suited to the room you're in. The cool thing is you can change all that out and you can hear all that on your headphones, right? Now headphones, the problem is, again, that the sound is just shooting right into your ears. And that's not natural, right? With speakers, the sound, even though you have a stereo image, the right speaker can hit your right ear, but also can hit your left ear. Same is true on the other side. You get a crossover. We're used to the way that sounds in a real space. With headphones, you don't get any crossover. So with this DSP virtual reference monitoring stuff that's going on, the science is supposedly taking the stereo image, this phantom image, away from our ears and in front of us to sort of fix that problem. How am I using this in the real world? Well, I'm using the SPDIF connection on the back. That's the other way you can do it. Digital 2 channels out of your current audio interface into this. So this can mirror, if you want, your main outputs. That's what I do. I've got my main speakers and I'm listening to them out of my interface. And then I've got a simple RCA SPDIF cable plugged into this which is giving me a mirror of that stereo mix. So if I plug in my headphones, I can then now take advantage of all the VRM listening to the same mix. So it's really easy to switch back and forth. Does it work? Well, yes, to some degrees, yes, it really, really does. Here's how I would do it. I started mixing my most recent project on my speakers. I do a lot of mixing in mono. I like to listen to it in the environment I'm used to. I've learned my room. But when I go to headphones, which is usually halfway through the mix, I like to zero in, listen intently on my delays, my reverbs, any mouth noises, things that I may not have heard or may have missed with speakers. I can sort of zero in with headphones. That's when I flipped to the VRM and I started to listen to the mix on different speakers because I'm getting used to the way these speakers sound. So I would flip through and listen to my mix for a couple minutes on a totally different set of speakers. And what that does is it forces you to focus again. You get so lazy and your ears get so accustomed to the EQ response coming off your speakers that the moment you're introduced to another set of speakers, even virtual speakers, your ears perk up and say, dude, this mix sounds weird. All of a sudden it's really abrasive, or it's really low end heavy, or the mid range is really annoying, or my bass went away. It's not that those things went away, it's just that those speakers sound different. So you've been mixing to one fixed point of reference. This allows you to mix to another fixed point of reference and maybe find the compromises that allow your mix to still sound intact and still have the impact you want on all sorts of speakers. It's not going to sound the same, that's impossible. But that was very helpful because I would flip to different speakers and then all of a sudden it forced me to focus again where I would have assumed that I'm pretty much already done with my mix. My favorite one to listen to was the home studio computer desktop speaker thing. I would flip it on that because that's the crappy USB type speaker that a lot of people are listening to. It's almost like a laptop speaker also. And it would give me a really good gauge of, is my kick drum cutting through? Is there enough click, click, click? Because there's going to be no low end on that. Is the snare drum there? Is the vocal still intelligible and clear and on top of the mix, or is it starting to get buried, or is it too hot? So I would listen to my mix for minutes at a time on that, get my ears used to that, and flip back to some studio speakers and be blown away by how that sounds different. Here's the weird thing with VRM Box. It's this fake reverb they put on the box, okay? If you listen to it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. They try to create a sense of space to mimic either a small room like this, a bigger studio, or a living room that has weird reflections and the length of the room can do weird things to the bass. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to make your ear feel like it has some sense of space, but it sounds way reverby, right? I mean, I'm not used to that, where a mix may be pretty dry and punchy. With VRM on, it sounds washed in this fake reverb. At first, it's really disconcerting and it just throws me off, and I don't like it at first. The more I mixed with it, the more I got used to it and almost could look past it. I don't know if that makes sense, but our ears tend to get used to whatever we're hearing, and I think in a good way I was able to use it for its tool purposes, which is being able to change out the speakers and the environment to just get a feel for what it would sound like without being distracted by the reverb. Now, I don't know if it's something that over time, I've only mixed 2 projects with it. If I mixed more and more and more, I would not be thrown off by it as much, and it would just be the way it has to sound because it's all fake. It's not real. So maybe it's just part of the territory when you're working with something like this. But at the same time, what I'm hearing in my room with reflections, even slightly treated room, that's not real either. That's just the way it sounds in my room, so I can't assume that's the best way for it to sound. So if you pop this on, it's going to probably throw most of you off and you're going to think this is weird. But you do get used to it, and I think the power of switching the environments and switching the speakers at the flip of a switch trumps any of that. For $99 US, I think it is totally a tool that the home and project studio user can use. This, you know, if you're looking at dropping a couple $100 on a new microphone and you're saying, I need a new preamp to fix my sound or to sound more professional, that's not what you need. More than likely, you just need to get better at listening as you're recording, mic placement as you're recording, and when it comes to mixing, referencing and not being tricked by your one speaker setup. Even if it's a good speaker setup, you could have $12,000 speakers in a perfectly acoustically treated room. And that's not going to be enough because that's not what people are going to be listening to your mix on. It will be accurate, it'll be flat, but is it going to give your ears enough opportunity to check your mix on really bad environments and very different environments? This box for $100 allows you to kind of do that quickly, effectively, cheaply, and it gives you clues to your mix. It's frustrating because it sort of illuminates holes in your mix or problems with your mix, but that's what you want to do as a mixer. So what I say, grab it. If you have $99 and you're toying spending it on something else, this might really be worth checking out, because this can help you get more of an accurate feel of what is your mix going to do in lots of environments. It's not a big investment. It's not going to fix your mixes. It's only going to give you another tool to get to the heart of the problem of your mixes. The more I use it, the more I get used to it. I think you might enjoy it. It's really going to be good for someone in the project studio environment. It's better than buying another pair of speakers if you already have a good pair of monitors. If you don't have any monitors, if you're just working on headphones, which is totally fine when you're getting started, I recommend this all the time. Just get a pair of studio headphones. They don't even have to be super expensive, and get to work. Any speaker you're going to have to learn anyway. But if you're looking at this, will this fix everything, and you don't have any speakers, any studio monitors? I would say skip this right away. Get a pair of studio monitors first. Don't have to get a really expensive pair, just get a decent pair of home studio, project studio speakers. They sound great. These speakers don't even cost that much, and they sound great. That's what you want to do, is get something that's flat that can be your baseline. Then incorporate something like this if you have a little bit of extra money and you want to kind of get a gauge on how your mix can translate outside of your current environment. It'll probably be a helpful tool for you. That's the order I would say. It's the Focusrite VRM Box. Totally unique tool. Has really helped me, I think, get more accurate, more palatable mixes as it's exposed flaws in my mixes. It's fun to use, it's fast, it's efficient. Focusrite's actually building tools that work for the actual home and project studio person. They're thinking about what would someone like you or I need. I feel like this tool is a great start in that direction. I highly recommend it. Check it out. Again, this is Graham at therecordingrevolution.com. Hope you guys are making a lot of great music this week. If you have any questions about the box, hit me up or check out Focusrite.com for all the details over there. Take care, guys.